Disappointment in Saskatchewan over pipelines not making Ottawa's projects list. The NDP calls for an investigation into planes purchased by the SPSA. And too many events at Rio could cause a parking problem on Saturday.
Live from our studios in Regina, this is CTV News.
Good evening. A company that is building a copper mine in northern Saskatchewan is pleased to be included on the Prime Minister's list of nation-building projects. However, the province and the federal Conservatives are disappointed Ottawa did not include an oil pipeline. Wayne Mantika has more.
Construction is well underway on a billion-dollar copper mine near Creighton in northern Saskatchewan. The Prime Minister wants regulatory approvals expedited. The company says the current phase has approvals in place, but it will be helpful for future expansion.
We are fully permitted for the McIlvena Bay mine, but already looking at what we can do with phase 2, so there will be future permits that this should help with.
This week, the Prime Minister included 5 major projects on his nation-building list, including expansion of a liquefied natural gas facility in Kitimat, BC, and the country's first modular reactor in Ontario. The Conservative opposition is disappointed that there was no mention of a pipeline.
And the fact that there's no pipelines on this list means there won't be new jobs at Regina Steel Factory, and it means that there won't be new opportunities to develop Saskatchewan's oil and gas. So that's devastating. The world wants more Canadian energy.
The province unveiled a new critical mining investment incentive to coincide with the federal announcement. The NDP support the copper mine, but question the priorities.
There are no projects announced today related to new pipelines, rail capacity, or Saskatchewan power generation.
The 5 projects on the Prime Minister's nation-building list represent the first round. More are expected, with Ottawa not excluding a pipeline for fast-tracking if a proposal is received. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Regina.
The NDP wants the provincial auditor to investigate the Saskatchewan Public Safety Agency's purchase of 4 firefighting planes. They referenced a CBC report which suggested the province overpaid by as much as $100 million for aircraft because it structured the procurement process to favor one supplier over another potential competitor. The NDP is asking the auditor to determine if the province held a fair and competitive tendering process.
The people of Saskatchewan deserve to know whether public safety decisions were compromised and whether their money was spent responsibly.
In an email to CTV, the provincial government says it relied on advice from an independent nonprofit research and development company during the procurement process, and, quote, specifications were designed to ensure the aircrafts would meet SPSA's operational needs and infrastructure requirements. The province says it remains committed to a robust wildfire response that is in the best interest of Saskatchewan people. Well, some northern Saskatchewan residents who had their homes destroyed by wildfire this summer are being offered temporary homes. The province says municipal leaders from the village of Denair Beach, the town of Creighton, and officials with the Saskatchewan Public Safety Agency shared their plan to help displaced residents over the winter months. The plan includes up to 35 temporary modular homes in Creighton and Denair Beach, which are expected to be available next month. It is estimated, though, Denair Beach lost 300 of its 400 homes to wildfire this year. The Saskatchewan Indian Gaming Authority has been fined more than $1.1 million for not following regulations under the Proceeds of Crime and Terrorist Financing Act. The fine was levied by the Financial Transactions and Report Analysis Centre of Canada, sometimes referred as FinTrack. The organization says it found SIGA to have made administrative violations against regulations meant to prevent money laundering. The violations include failing to submit a suspicious transaction report where there were reasonable grounds to suspect that transactions were related to a money laundering or terrorist activity finance offense. FinTrack also says SIGA failed to report suspicious transaction with prescribed information and develop and apply written compliance policies that are now up to date, and in the case of an entity, approved by a senior officer. CTV News has reached out to SIGA for comment but has not heard back. A 21-year-old man from India is facing drug trafficking charges after an investigation led by RCMP's Moose Jaw Crime Reduction Team. On September the 9th, officers executed a search warrant at a residence on Main Street. They found 2.4 kilograms of methamphetamine, 386 grams of cocaine, cocaine, 112 grams of fentanyl, 58 grams of ecstasy, and a little more than $3,600 in cash. The man faces 4 counts of possession for the purpose of trafficking and 1 count of possession of proceeds of crime under $5,000. He appeared in court last Wednesday. His next court appearance is September the 15th. A 29-year-old woman from Dysart is dead after a single vehicle rollover on Thursday evening. Around 6:20 p.m., RCMP received a call about a rollover on Highway 639 near Dysart. The driver of the vehicle was pronounced dead on scene. 5 passengers, 1 woman, the rest children, were taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. RCMP continued to investigate. Meanwhile, foggy conditions this morning believed to have caused a 3-vehicle collision on Highway 35, 18 kilometers south of Nipawin. First responders did report 0 visibility in the area. Details about the crash and the people involved still unknown at this time. RCMP continued to investigate. Well, parking for a Rider game at Mosaic Stadium or a concert at the Brand Center can be difficult enough, but what happens when both happen at the same time? That's the issue visitors to the Real District will face this Saturday. Damian Smith has the details.
Quiet day here on Friday afternoon, but tomorrow should be a very busy day at the Real District with many events going on, with parking on the minds of many people.
Yes, we understand that there's going to be, it's going to get a little bit crazy. It's going to be some fun trying to find some parking. We do encourage people to do perhaps take public transit for this one day.
From 9 a.m. to almost midnight, there will be limited space to park around the complex, with at least 6 events taking place on Saturday. The Farmers Market opens up at 9 a.m., followed by the Galaxy Psychic Fair at 10, the Party in the Park at 2, ahead of the Rider game at 5, a Cougars men's game at 2:30, capping off with a Keith Urban concert at 7 p.m. But Real believes they're prepared for anything, especially after the cancellation of a Rider game earlier in the season due to wildfire smoke.
Well, we're getting really good at executing in extraordinary circumstances. We sat tight till later in the evening and rescheduled the game. So we executed back-to-back CFL games. The Labor Day Classic was an absolute sellout and really tested everybody on the team in terms of delivering incredible services. So I think this is what we do on a day-in, day-out basis.
Bennett says organizers are ready for a busy weekend ahead and is advising attendees to use their time to their advantage.
Be prepared for moving around a little slower on the district as well as the adjacent communities, but we've worked incredibly hard with RPS, the City of Regina, to enhance the traffic flow, extend the green light signals coming off of Louvain, as well as stronger presence in terms of traffic control throughout the district.
Real also recommends visitors to carpool, use taxi services, or park off-site to save space in the area. Damian Smith, CTV News, Regina.
Sabine joins us for our first look at weather. And yes, visitors Saturday to Real, they're going to find some difficulties parking and some rain as well.
Why did you have to do that?
Because that's what you're going to tell us, Sabine.
Yeah, you're going to want to need an umbrella, perhaps a rain jacket with you, especially if you are parking a distance away to get to wherever you may need to be getting to on the grounds there at the Real District. Because yes, if you haven't realized, we saw some of that rain arrive in southern Saskatchewan today, in particular in Regina. We did see a number of warnings popping up throughout late this afternoon. Still seeing some of those warnings scattered throughout as you see that radar satellite right now. The rain is expected to continue into this evening, lighter than what we saw earlier this evening. Temperatures still above the average, starting to see them come down a little. Regina currently sitting at 19 degrees. The average is about 19 degrees, and we warmed up to 26 late this afternoon. Now, we're still expecting to see above average temperatures heading into the weekend, but the rain is going to be the story for southern Saskatchewan tomorrow, and I'll talk more about that coming up in your full forecast. Lee?
Thank you, Sabine. Now, a warning for residents, visitors as well, of downtown Regina tomorrow morning. A natural gas flare will be conducted at the 2000 block of Hamilton Street from 7 to 10 a.m. So people will see a 10-foot flame emitting from 2 flare stacks attached to Sask Energy infrastructure. So don't panic if you see this. Sask Energy employees will be on site to ensure public safety. Well, it's being dubbed by some as a solution to Canada's healthcare crisis, technology that brings doctors to you virtually. Today, Whitecap Dakota First Nation community leaders gathered at the future site of a virtual health hub. John Flatters has more.
Construction is underway as workers are moving earth preparing to build a new virtual health hub on Whitecap Dakota First Nation.
We were the inventors of Medicare, and I feel that the virtual health hub is the next stage. Is actually the medicine chest of the future.
Community leaders, members of the provincial government, as well as the Minister of Indigenous Services, Mandy Galmasti, heard a presentation by Dr. Mendez about the vision and focus of the virtual health hub.
He really spoke to the innovation that this project is delivering in community, and I cannot stress that I was blown away by the level of shift he was bringing in the mindset of healthcare delivery and remote Indigenous community.
The hub is designed to provide healthcare services to rural and remote communities and First Nations from a centralized location using virtual technology and robotics. It's also intended to ease the pressure on emergency rooms by assessing and treating patients before they come to a hospital, which was proven during a pilot project in Saskatoon.
And in one given month, there would have been 58 people transported to the ER room, emergency room. And because of the technology we had, only 8 people had to actually go to the emergency room.
Health Minister Jeremy Cockrell says discussions are underway with Dr. Mendez and the SHA to make sure services are integrated well in the event a patient does need to leave home for health care.
Should any of these patients from the north need to come to a tertiary center after that ultrasound occurs or after other services occur, we want to make sure that experience will be seamless for patients coming from the north.
Mendez hopes this model of care can be implemented not just in rural settings, but urban too.
We hope that this model is a little bit like the tail that will wag the dog. That will be a model that can be instituted into the mainstream healthcare system.
Construction is expected to be complete in 2027. John Flatters, CTV News, Whitecap, Dakota First Nation.
There was a free barbecue in Victoria Park today to promote and celebrate the Overdose Awareness Team. The Saskatchewan Health Authority partnered with Regina Fire Department to host the event. The fire department responds to multiple overdose emergencies every day, and the Overdose Outreach Team is working to reduce that number. The team consists of one SHA addictions counselor and a Regina Fire Department paramedic. Naloxone kits were available at the event, along with training as to how to use the life-saving kits. The SHA says that if a person has overdosed once, they are at high risk to overdose again.
Because I think the goal of the team is to meet the person where they're at. So for somebody, that would absolutely, that's going to keep them the safest if they weren't using it all. Of course it is. That's not the reality. That's not really within everyone's grasp at the moment. And that's what we hope for them eventually. But we really want to keep them alive for another day where that might be their decision in the future.
The Saskatchewan Health Authority says that drug overdoses are up partly due to toxicity in the illegal and abused substances. Technology becoming an important tool in the ag industry. A Saskatchewan farm just outside of Caronport is testing a prototype piece of machinery that is looking to streamline the future of crop production. Jacob Carr has the details.
This futuristic-looking piece of machinery called the Nexat is made in Germany and is only one of 3 of its kind in North America. All are currently situated at Chute Farms, just outside of Caronport.
They actually approached us in early summer. They were wondering, we got bigger fields here. They had 2 down in Nebraska and 1 out in Manitoba, so they approached us wanting a little bit of flatter land, bigger fields type of things.
The Nexat system has different attachments, allowing its carrier vehicle to either seed, fertilize, or harvest a crop.
It's cool. Like, there's nothing out there that looks like this thing, so when you can combine beside it all day, it's definitely interesting. That's pretty much the real reason we kind of said yes. It's like, well, this is neat. I want to see this thing work.
The Agricultural Producers Association of Saskatchewan says the Nexat may have a role to play in the future of crop production, not only in the province, but worldwide.
The Nexat looks quite interesting, and based on some of their initial data, it does seem to provide certain improvements to sustainability, certainly less compaction over the growing area.
The only sticking point that APAS currently sees with the Nexat is a its price point. The entire system ranges from $2 to $2.75 million, which APAS says might be hard to justify for some producers in the province.
Most pieces of equipment start out on the larger operations, and some of the medium to smaller operations just sort of wait for those things to come down on price so that they're realistically affordable for most operations in Saskatchewan.
Costs aside, Chute is just enjoying his time with the unique machinery for as long as it's available to him.
Yeah, come seeding time, I think the plan is to actually run this till after next harvest. So we could very well be in this field in the spring seeding with that thing.
Jacob Carr, CTV News, Regina.
The first annual Saskatchewan Okimaw Awards were given to Indigenous community leaders today. 16 awards presented to outstanding individuals across a wide range of categories, including creative arts, business, sports, justice, and more. The nominees were chosen by Matriarch Circle. Some of the recipients include former CTV Regina reporters Chris Adjugate, Nelson Bird, both getting honored, as well as former U of S basketball player Michael Linklater.
To honor and celebrate Indigenous men doing some amazing things for their communities, and just showing them that they are seen and they're acknowledged, and that just that they're amazing.
Okimaw, by the way, is the Cree word for chief or leader. Melville's SJHL hockey players are not the only millionaires in town. Melville's Wanda Ward is $1.37 million richer after winning the grand jackpot on the Vault Breaker VLT at the city's Western Pizza location. Ward says she has planned to share with her family, especially her 3-month-old grandchild. The province-wide Vault Breaker grand jackpot has been awarded 54 times since 2017. Still ahead, the suspect in the Charlie Kirk shooting has been arrested in Utah. And a look at 2 port projects given the fast track by Ottawa. After an intense manhunt, a suspect now in custody in connection to the assassination of popular conservative influencer Charlie Kirk during an event at a college in Utah earlier this week. CTV's Joy Malbin has more on what we know about the suspect.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We got him.
With those words, authorities identified 22-year-old Tyler Robinson of Utah as a suspect in connection with the targeted killing of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. After these images were released last night and a video of a suspect jumping from a rooftop, police say Robinson's father confronted his son and, with the help of a youth pastor, convinced him to turn himself in.
A family friend who contacted the Washington County Sheriff's Office with information that Robinson had confessed to them or implied that he had committed the incident.
A family member told investigators Robinson had become more political, expressing anger in chat groups and to friends.
Robinson mentioned Charlie Kirk was coming to UVU. They talked about why they didn't like him and the viewpoints that he had. The family member also stated Kirk was full of hate and spreading hate.
Police found a high-powered rifle and bullet casings with disturbing messages. As for motive, here's what the governor said.
The clearest one that says catch fascist, there's not, and by the way, that's like catch like a ball, catch this. I think that speaks for itself.
Kirk, a husband and father, was a rock star in the MAGA movement, debating controversial subjects like transgender issues, and a fierce ally of Donald Trump, who broke the news on air.
I hope he gets the death penalty. What he did, Charlie Kirk was the finest person. He didn't deserve this.
As Utah's governor pleaded for political healing.
This is our moment. Do we escalate or do we find an off-ramp? And again, it's a choice.
Robinson was arrested and charged with aggravated murder. He faces federal charges next week. Police believe he acted alone and is being held without bail. Joy Malbin, CTV News, Washington.
Back here in Canada with the trade war with the U.S., it requires getting Canadian goods to more markets. That's why the federal government says 2 ports are on the major projects list. Judy Trin takes a look at the projects, one in Quebec, the other in Manitoba.
Expanding the Port of Montreal is one of the major projects on the fast track for approval. It's a gateway to new markets in Northern Europe and Africa.
We'll advance projects that turbocharge and connect our regional economies.
The port is bursting. Authorities say if it doesn't increase its capacity, Canadian companies may have to go through U.S. ports to ship across the Atlantic Ocean.
If Canadian companies that are now exporting to the U.S. choose another destination, with a modest 6%, the Port of Montreal will be full. So if we don't have any more capacity, what will happen is those companies will use an American port.
When it's built, the Contrecoeur terminal will reduce emissions while increasing the port's capacity by more than 1 million containers. The federal government is promising to greenlight construction this fall so the project can be finished by 2030.
The Major Projects Office will enable us to take those final steps as quickly as possible.
We are referring Port of Churchill Plus.
The port in northern Manitoba is also being considered for streamlined approvals. It's an Indigenous-led project. The plans here include using icebreakers to extend operations beyond the summer and improving roads and train routes to bring resources from the west to ship out.
So that customers can go on a year-round or close to year-round basis. So that's really the game changer, and it really allows us to diversify that trade to Europe and diversify ourselves away from the U.S.
Building a port in the Arctic is also under consideration for fast tracking. The goal for these projects of national importance is to have them approved within 2 years. Once that happens, they'll also be in line for significant federal funding. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
The union representing Canada Post workers is making a couple of changes amid stalled contract talks with the Crown Corporation. A ban on overtime work by employees is over. The Canadian Union of Postal Workers says the move follows concerns by the corporation about its impact on operations. But starting on Monday at 12:01 a.m., workers will stop delivering commercial flyers to homes and businesses.
For us, this is a bargaining issue that's on the table currently. Delivering flyers, people aren't being paid properly for the work of delivering the flyers, similar to how the Air Canada workers aren't being paid for all hours that they work as well. And also, it's a health and safety concern because some of the flyers are oversized and heavy, and therefore the work-life balance and the health and safety, that's also one of our demands to fix health and safety issues. So for us, switching from the overtime ban, we heard Canada Post say how, it was impacting them, that the overtime ban was impacting them. So by lifting this, we're now changing to this one to cause less impact on Canada Post of what they're claiming is going to happen.
The union says it hopes the change will help secure a deal before the lucrative holiday rush. Canada Post says it's disappointed with the flyer ban, which will impact Canadian businesses that use the service and the corporation's finances. NATO is bulking up its defensive posture on its eastern flank. The move follows an incursion by Russian drones into Polish territory.
The reckless behavior we have seen from Russia is deeply dangerous. Our assessment of the incidents on Wednesday is ongoing. And whether or not Russia's actions were deliberate, Russia's violated NATO airspace. Therefore, we must, as NATO, make clear our resolve and our ability to defend our territory. And that is exactly what Eastern Sentry is designed to do.
New Allied equipment will be deployed to deter potential Russian aggression after a number of drones crossed into Poland on Wednesday. European leaders insist it was a deliberate move by Moscow. NATO member Canada says it will help however it can with the new operation on the eastern flank. Ottawa summoned Russia's ambassador to Canada on Wednesday and reprimanded him over the incursion into Poland. And in the Middle East, health authorities in the Gaza Strip say Israeli strikes killed at least 40 Palestinians today. Most of the casualties have happened in Gaza City, where many residents are staying put despite Israeli evacuation orders because they say they have nowhere to go. Israel has stated its intention to take full control of that city. Meanwhile, in New York, the UN General Assembly voted to support a two-state solution and urge Israel to commit to a Palestinian state. The non-binding resolution endorses a declaration that sets out a phased plan to end the nearly 80-year conflict between Israel and the Palestinians. Hours before the vote, Israel's prime minister said there will be no Palestinian state. Coming up, a blast from the STC's past at the Western Development Museum in Moose Jaw.
Join us Monday for a brand new look. CTV Morning Live becomes your morning Saskatchewan. We're inviting you to see the new look and find out how you can win $20,000.
Welcome back. If you were in and around the Regina area late this afternoon, early evening, you would have seen a storm come through. We're starting to see the sky clear a little bit, but we're still seeing a bit of that rain in parts of the city. Currently sitting at 18 degrees. We did warm up to 26 degrees late this afternoon, but as soon as this system came through, we saw those temperatures drop quite a bit. So currently sitting at 18 degrees, winds just under 15 kilometers an hour. This is the system that decided to arrive and really take a hold of the area that it was sitting in. You can see a number of storm cells within that system still making its way through, and we're still seeing some warnings in the areas just south of the Regina area. We did have some a little around the Davidson area, currently looking like they've cleared out. But as we continue into this weekend, chances are very likely we're going to continue to see a lot of those warnings and watches start to pop up, in particular in the southeast. And I'm going to show you that in our future tracker here is what you can expect as we continue into this evening. Now, there is a good chance we're going to see that another system arrive in the Assiniboia area later this evening. And with it, again, some storm cells within that system you can see in and around the Assiniboia area. As that system continues to move forward, we'll see more pockets of these storm cells coming through, particularly, again, coming from the southeast, and then we'll see it kind of clip through into the Saskatoon, up into the Prince Albert area, and continuing to see more of that cloud cover and precipitation in the southeast. And then by the time we get into tomorrow afternoon, there is a large system coming through with quite a bit of rain. Now, Assiniboia continuing to see more rain, and again, Estevan, Weyburn, Regina, Yorkton. Regina could, between now and to about Monday, could see maybe about 20 millimeters of rain, but it's primarily right along the southern border there and even into the Yorkton Wynyard area that could see more of that rain between now into Monday. By Sunday, we will start to see things settle. So tomorrow is where we're going to expect to see the heaviest part of that rain. I don't have the exact numbers on my tracker, on my rainfall totals that I'm going to show you in a second, because some of these numbers, you could, if I show you Estevan and show you 88 millimeters of rain, it's not right within Estevan, but obviously where we're seeing these darker shaded areas, again, in the southeast mostly, especially in this corner where the red is, we could see up to 90 millimeters of rain between now into Monday afternoon. Along the Assiniboia areas, surrounding areas, up to about 60 millimeters. Weyburn could see up to about 40 in and around those surrounding areas. Yorkton up to about 70 millimeters. So there's quite a bit of rain expected, again, mostly in the southeast. Again, the darker the coloring is where we're going to see the heaviest rainfall. So just something to keep in mind if you are taking a look at spending some time outdoors. Probably not tomorrow. Temperatures still above seasonal, especially further in the northern areas. 27 for La Loche and Lloydminster. Prince Albert seeing some rain tonight, 23 tomorrow. And there you have it, 14 and risk of thunderstorms tonight for Saskatoon, 23 and a risk of thunderstorms tomorrow, 22 for Yorkton tomorrow with a risk of thunderstorm. North Battleford could miss out on all that severe weather, but could see a little bit of scattered precipitation. Tomorrow, again, 25 for Maple Creek, rain for Moose Jaw tomorrow, 21 southeast. Also continuing to see rain, temperatures much cooler, but still within that average range of 19 degrees. And for Regina, 15 and 20 tomorrow with game day tomorrow. It's going to be a wet one. Just bring a rain jacket. Well, this doesn't stop us from getting out there and cheering on the Riders. Kickoff 19 and rain, 18 and rain on in the second quarter, and by the second half, not 27, still 18 degrees and rain. I knew Lee was going to laugh. This is, I always miss one thing. All right, and here's the next 7 days for you. Again, kickoff at 5 o'clock, expecting rain. The risk of thunderstorm earlier in the afternoon. By Sunday, cloudy, 24, 23 and rain on Monday. Tuesday, a mix of sun and cloud, 23 degrees, so we get a bit of a break from the rain as we enter the beginning of next week. 23 degrees, still seeing above seasonal temperatures, and by the end of next week, we will see those temperatures start to drop. Still a chance Tuesday night into Wednesday, we could see some scattered precipitation. I tried, Lee.
The Riders will be playing so well, and the fans will be cheering so loud. It will warm up everyone in the second half.
That could be it. We need Rider Nation to come out to help keep things up to 27 degrees.
Let's say that then.
We can do it. It won't be. It'll be 18 degrees throughout the rest of the game.
All right. Rainy. Thanks, Sabine.
Yeah, you bet.
So rainy. It has been 8 years since STC discontinued their operations in the province. The Crown Corporation provided a transportation link for Saskatchewan residents that actually spanned more than 70 years. Now a bus formerly owned by STC is going on display at Moose Jaw's Western Development Museum in recognition of the company's legacy. Wayne Mantiga has more.
Mike Stobbs and a group of volunteers are preparing to move a bus into Moose Jaw's Western Development Museum.
It's in excellent shape mechanically. We had it running about a month ago. The air brakes work, transmission works, the starter works, so we just got to hook up power to it and get her going.
The bus had been donated by STC to the Western Development Museum following the 2017 shutdown of the Crown Corporation.
And it has sat in storage up at our corporate office in Saskatoon for a number of years. We've recently had some changes happening in our land gallery here at the WDM Moose Jaw, and it's a fantastic way to bring this piece out from behind the scenes and have it on public display for the first time.
STC was founded in 1946 and served 253 communities in Saskatchewan. However, declining ridership and the need for government subsidies of about $17 million a year led to the decision to cease operation. The bus exhibit at the WDM will recognize the company's legacy.
We're a very spread out sort of province. Our population is scattered, and a lot of folks grew up and used the buses to get from one place to another. It was a very common thing. And I know even currently some folks lament the passing of that, but we do have modern vehicles and improved roadways, so transportation has become a little bit easier over time, but this sure is a time capsule from another era.
The motor fired up, and this former STC bus made a short final run into history. Wayne Mantiga, CTV News, Moose Jaw.
Still ahead, the Riders could be without both their starting cornerbacks Saturday versus Montreal.
Wardrobe consideration in part by Colin O'Brien Men's Shop.
It can be hard to believe, but the Riders can secure a playoff spot with a win tomorrow over the Montreal Alouettes at Mosaic Stadium. The defense has been a big reason for the Riders' success this season, but tomorrow they may have to play without two key starters in the secondary. Jacob Carr has the details.
For the Riders, the status of both cornerbacks Marcus Sales and Tavon Campbell for Saturday's game is in question. Both are listed as game-time decisions on the team's official depth chart. And Saskatchewan head coach Corey Mace did not provide much more clarity on the situation.
But certainly from what we're hearing is that if he can, he can. So that's really good. And then, you know, the other one, the man, we call him Wolverine. I don't know. He heals up good, and he's been a game time before. So feeling pretty confident with that.
If either Sales or Campbell are to miss the game, the Riders may elevate Benny Sapp III to man one of the starting cornerback spots. And the veterans in the defensive backfield say he will be ready if called upon.
He asks a lot of questions, you know what I'm saying? He makes sure that he's locked in on what we got going on. Anything he doesn't understand, he double checks with multiple people just to make sure he's on the right page. And, you know, as far as football, you know, he's a football player, so he's going to go out there and make plays. He made plays during practice this week.
Sapp says joining the likes of Roland Milligan Jr. and DeMarcus Fields in the secondary in front of the Mosaic Stadium faithful would have him amped up.
I'm already an energetic person. If I do get that nod tomorrow, you guys definitely going to see me not necessarily get out my body, but I'm definitely going to bring a lot of energy, and I really can't wait. Like, it gives you kind of goosebumps, if I'm being honest.
One thing that is for certain is Kosi Onyeka will make his second consecutive start at safety with both Nelson Lukambo and Jackson Ford out of the lineup. Onyeka told CTV News he wants to build on his first start in Winnipeg.
They want me to be aggressive when my plays are there. They want me to make my plays, so that's really what I'm keying in on this week and emphasizing this week is making my plays when my number's called.
Kickoff is at 5 p.m. on Saturday at Mosaic Stadium. Jacob Carr, CTV News, Regina.
Tonight, the Hamilton Tiger Cats are hosting the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, where there are heavy hearts on both sides of the ball.
Hamilton, this morning we learned of the passing of our general manager, Ted Gavaya. At this time, we ask for you to stand if you are able, and please join us in a moment of silence in his memory.
General Manager Ted Govaya of the Ticats passed away today from cancer. He was named GM of the Ticats in December last year after 11 years with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers as an assistant GM. He began his CFL career with the Argos back in 2010. In June, Govaya revealed that he was undergoing treatment for a serious form of cancer. Coming up, a Saskatchewan chef shows off her pastry pizzazz in the Philippines.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at your rural forecast for tomorrow. Many areas still seeing those temperatures above seasonal, but we will start to see more of that cloud cover rolling in and the risk of thunderstorms in parts of Saskatchewan, primarily staying in the southeast, eastern part of the province. But as those systems start to travel, we will start to see them move more into central Saskatchewan, making its way into northwest. But watchers could see a risk of thunderstorms along with Wynyard and even Meadow Lake. Spearwood could see some rain tomorrow as well. Temperatures, again, still seeing in the low 20s for much of the area. Meadow Lake expected to get up to 26, and Lloydminster and Kindersley staying on the mix of sun and cloud side. Not really much expected in terms of precipitation, and 27 is still expected for the daytime high. The closer we get to southern border, that's where we're going to see some cooler temperatures again, mostly in the southeast. They're still in the seasonal range. 19 for Broadview, Carlisle, risk of thunderstorms. Pilot Butte, Lumsden, 20, risk of thunderstorms. And then over in the southwest, Maple Creek, mostly cloudy, 25. East End Cypress, 23 degrees. If we take a closer look at Herbert, located about 200 kilometers west of Regina, expecting to see the rain and a risk of thunderstorm throughout much of the day tomorrow. 23 degrees is the expected high. Still expect some humidity, so some of these temperatures, especially the 23, feeling closer to about 25.
A Saskatchewan pastry chef has recently returned from the Philippines after competing in a catering business contest. Sierra D'Souza Butts has more.
Growing up with a passion for culinary art, Emma Compton says she always wanted to become a chef.
I loved baking my entire life, and I took a lot of classes at Miller High School, and I was really inspired there.
Early into her career, the Regina pastry chef recently took her skills for tasty treats abroad, participating in a catering business contest in Manila, Philippines.
It was completely different. Cooking in a different climate and that kind of humidity was something I wasn't used to, but it was really exciting, and in that extent, there was such a great team at their catering business, so it was a new experience because I'm like a solo person here.
Serving as the head pastry chef for Rich Gold Weddings, Compton took part in plating over 1,000 desserts of panna cotta and macaron with Philippine flavors, placing third with her team.
I try to keep like the nice basic rustic like things everyone loves here, but then mix it with a little bit more luxury flavors and all that stuff. So my macarons, I try to make them really different flavors, ones you don't see everywhere.
She credits her business's success to the Regina's farmers market, saying she would not be able to continue without the market being open every week.
That's why I was able to do this full time. The farmers market's the sole reason I was able to pursue this and really make this what it is. This kitchen I got to create because of the farmers market. So it's a dream come true to be able to go there every week and have a place.
Being able to share her culinary skills internationally, Compton says she is excited to see where her career takes her next.
Hopefully, I can continue doing really well at the farmers market, do some more markets around Saskatchewan, get to know other pastry chefs, other culinary chefs, and hopefully maybe look into Skills Canada, all that type of stuff. So I'd like to keep on developing what I do.
Sierra D'Souza Butts, CTV News, Regina.
The Northern Image Photographers Club has its annual exhibition on display to the public this month in Prince Albert. The annual exhibition is at the John Vic Hicks Gallery, second story of the Margot Fournier Center. This year's show features the theme of correspondence open to the interpretation of club members. Kendall Kerr has been a member of the club for almost 10 years, but this was his first show organizing.
A lot of people don't have an opportunity to show their works to other people other than maybe family or friends. It allows them to challenge themselves.
The show opens September 1st, runs until the 23rd. For a second, I thought he was speechless, but there you go. Let's take a look at your stock markets. The TSX down 124 points. Dow Jones down 273. The Canadian dollar, it went down 0.07 of a cent to 72.23 cents U.S. Gold, it went up $9.07. West Texas Intermediate crude up 34 cents, while Western Canadian Select crude was down $1.16. And gas in Regina has dropped a bit. It is now at $1.39.9 cents per liter.
The federal government wants shovels in the ground on a high-speed rail line in 4 years. The 1,000-kilometer corridor would run between Toronto and Quebec City, zipping passengers along at 300 kilometers an hour. The trade minister says the new Major Projects Office will work to speed up engineering and other work, even though this didn't make the initial list of projects announced by the Prime Minister on Thursday. Canada Post and its union still haven't agreed on a contract for postal workers. The union representing the workers now says they will stop delivering flyers on Monday, but will start working overtime again. OT was banned in May as negotiations dragged on. A new survey reveals Canadians are saving more. The National Payroll Institute found 29% of Canadians saved $10,000 or more in the past year. That's up 6% from the previous year. The best savers? Gen Z, who save an average of 11% from each paycheck. Those are your business headlines. I'm Morella Fernandez.
All right, Steven Spielberg is giving a thumbs up to a new exhibit celebrating Jaws.
Right. In honor of the film's 50th anniversary, the Academy Museum of Motion Pictures is opening Jaws, the exhibition. Spielberg says the exhibit in Los Angeles takes him back 51 years ago to Martha's Vineyard when he was shooting the famous film. It was more than 200 original objects from the movie. Many of them have never been on public display before. It'll be open until next July. We'll move over cats and dogs. A sweater-wearing emotional support alligator is snapping up attention in Pennsylvania.
I didn't think that I would actually own an alligator ever. It's been really kind of incredible. We've gone to restaurants. We've been to Denny's where she's a star there. She gets VIP treatment.
Owner Wesley Silva says the animal usually receives a warm welcome until about 2 weeks ago when shoppers at a local Walmart complained the animal is registered for emotional support. But Walmart says alligators are not permitted in their stores. Silva says while he's upset, he'll continue taking the alligator wherever she's welcome.
Well, I mean, if they're registered.
So you wouldn't mind having the alligator come over and take a look at the weather center?
Supporting me. Do you?
It's only rain.
It's raining.